Okay, and then I was to speak about GBV, like maybe my experience growing up, or rather what happened. Being in the healthcare field, most of the time people think of GBV because I want to really create an awareness in terms of GBV. When someone mentions GBV, the first thing that really crops in people's minds is the sexual violence. And in most cases, people really try to, tend to think that there are no other forms of GBV that could be manifested, whether physical, whether emotional, all that is still GBV. And sexual GBV is also there, though that's what is usually mostly rampant. And when it happens, all the administrators are after you. Everyone wants to really capture that kind of information. So they tend to forget the physical part of it. They tend to forget the emotional part of it. And in like the Luo community, yeah, it's true that, some women, I don't know if they still practice it to date, but I think some do. Women who say that you can't be married to someone and then they don't beat you. Like when they beat you, that's when you confirm you are loved. But I'm really against that. I really don't support any form of beating, be it beating a man or beating a woman. All that is violence. And it really begins from just from a little word. Yeah, you wrong someone and it's like, I'll beat you up, nitakupiga siku moja, nitakutandika. And then you're like, no, he just said it. But like in the human perspective, whatever someone says, just be sure one day he'll definitely do it to you. So in any form of GBV, whether it's emotional, whether it's physical, whether it's sexual, it usually has a source. Like I can talk of a physical GBV, physical violation. I can say at one point, maybe in the relationships that I was in, I can remember I was once beaten. Yes, I was once beaten. And it was just because of a very small issue that I think we could have just sat down and talked about. But by then also, like I told you, I had like this temperaments. And then when someone does something else to keep quiet, and then now when I blow, it becomes a whole mess. And I can remember I was beaten, though I was not so much beaten, but at the end of the day, I was beaten. And I really didn't think twice, but I had to leave that relationship because I was like, today, if he beats me, if he slaps me today, then what will he do the next time? It just begins from something small. The next time you don't know if this person will stab you. You don't know what this person will do. It just begins from a little slap, a little pinch here and there. So GBV is something that is so rampant in the community, whether it's, like I mentioned, whether it's sexual, physical, or emotional. And as ladies, we really need to be keen at what someone says to us. First time I was beaten, I think it was the first and the last time I was beaten. Like the normal, you have the emotional reactions, so which I can say I did cry. And I cried a river of tears. Yeah, that was like a way of me relieving myself. And at that time when you're beaten, all of you are like on some level of tempo, which you'll have to exchange words. And you'll be like, you are the one who did me wrong, I'm the one who did you wrong. And it's more of blame games. But I can remember that time I was beaten. And the following day, I had to confront this guy because at that state, I couldn't really talk to him. So I had to wait until the following day. And I was like, so why did you do this? And the guy was like, it's you who forced me to do it. And I was like, so in any case, it will be me triggering you. Okay, I accept maybe I triggered you, it's okay. But now did you have to react in that way, like coming to beat me up? And we really couldn't get to one point of our consortium and find out the real cause of the problem. Although I came to realize later that it was something we could really, really sort, because I can remember he borrowed me money, yeah, and he wanted to buy mosquito nets, yeah, the ones that are being sold in supermarkets. So I gave the money to him. And now when I needed back my money, it was like a whole mess. I was like, I give you this money kind-heartedly. But right now when I want it back, because I also want to use it, it's not like a whole lot of mess. But I realized maybe if I could have been a little bit maybe more patient, then he could have given me back the money and I could have done what I wanted to do with the money. So, but at that point I was like, no, you won't beat me. I've been beaten in primary school by my teachers, in high school, and then now you still want to come and beat me. So I was like, no, let me just walk away. And of course, even when you walk away, there's that kind of trauma bonding that we usually do have, like in relationships, because you feel like, I think I'm the one who wronged him. That's what you usually feel. You feel like, I need just to apologize and let things flow. You feel like, maybe next time you won't do the same thing to me. But at the end of the day, abuse is abuse. Whether it was inflicted by you or by the other person, it remains to be abuse. So we just need to like find a way out. If you want to leave, leave, because it will still happen. There's the recurrence. It's like an addiction. Like maybe if you are taking some hard substances and then you're like, let me stop for a while, there's that period that really you'll feel like maybe wanting to do it again. So it's more of an addiction. That time I couldn't fight back. I was even smaller than this size. So I was like, maybe if I fought back I could have been broken even further. So I didn't fight back, but I chose to walk away. I didn't report. At that moment, I didn't report. Why? Honestly, I didn't report. Why? Because I was like, this thing is more domesticated. It's a domestic thing. It's just between me and him, and it is something that has just happened once. Because for me, reporting to the authorities meant that maybe it was something that was recurrent, and I was like, he just did it once, so why should I report him? Let me just choose to walk away, because maybe he'll do it again. But I didn't report it maybe to any local authority. But at the moment, with the age I'm in right now, if that could have happened again, I think I could have just reported it. But you know what really brought me back, it was like, you know, there's this aspect of you being told, like, as a woman, you have to be patient. Like in Swahili we say, unafaa uvumilie. And you know, that thing has really brought a lot of women, like, even into their graves. Because you're told, you know, you should respect a man. Okay, I do believe in respecting men. I do believe in submission. I do believe in, like, letting the man lead. But, you know, at some point, let's not mix submission with someone taking advantage of you. So in terms of abuse, you know, when you even go to report this at home, your parent will be like, ndoa ni kuvumilia. Relationships are there to be, you know, be patient about it. And you'll end up packing your bags that you went with at home back to your place. But I think that is where the abuse begins, because this person, even after abusing you, he'll come back and apologize in all different ways, even if it's taking you to, like, your favorite destination. But just be sure it will happen again. So the aspect of, like, yeah, you have to be patient. And in cases where kids are involved, you're told, you know, this kid has to grow up with their both father and mother. And then you're back there, like, umerudi kuvumilia. Little did you know that you can take care of your kids even without, in the absence of this guy. Because even if you continue being there, and your kids are seeing what you're going through, then they'll also have, like, that negative perception about relationships, that negative perceptions about marriage. So if it's hard, just let it go. You'll save your life, and also you'll save your notion about, you know, what kids think of in marriage. Because I came to realize, like, statistically, even the people whom I interact with, the girls who've been violated at one point or another, they'll tell you that at some point my dad and mom were fighting. Yeah. If maybe you get a girl who is, like, into alcohol, they'll tell you, even my dad, I used to see him, like, drinking. I used to see him carrying beers and putting them into the fridge inside the house. And so it's some kind of a cycle, it's some kind of a bond that you really feel as a person, you can't, like, get rid of it. So that's the same as violence, because even for ladies who are being maybe violated in their relationships, they'll tell you that, you know, my mom was also being beaten. And she had just to put on that face that everything was okay in the house while going to the public. I don't know, everyone will feel like maybe your dad and mom are okay, but when you come back to the house, it's a whole mess. So in terms of violations, ladies, men, let's just learn to tell our daughters, like, or our daughters stroke sons, because a violation occurs in all genders, whether you're a boy or you're a girl. it's better to bring back your daughter at home, maybe divorced, than leave him in that house and then you'll come and collect him or her in a casket. There's no need. Like when they tell you it's not working, as a parent, don't force them to go back there, because you know it's usually said that the one who wears the shoe is the one who knows where it really pinches. So if this kid will come and tell you know what, mom, you know what, dad, I married this lady and this lady is just beating me from Monday to Sunday, don't tell your son that you are masculine, you need to be a man. No. There are men who are the polite type, the ones who, like, not that they behave like women, but you know that that's these gentle guys. So if your kid comes and tells you, no, mom, dad, I was violated, please just take a closer action. Just look into it deeply. Don't tell them to go back, and then when they go back, they'll come even more hurt than they went into it. And same applies to our daughters. Be open to your child. If your child tells you, someone did this to me, someone touched my private parts, please take action. And then this notion of, you know, calling private parts things, like, it really doesn't add up, because that's where the violation begins. Maybe your 6-year-old will come and tell you, mom, someone touched my thing. And they don't know the meaning of that thing, because you've always been telling her this is a thing. So just tell him, babe, this is your boob, these are your butts, this is your vagina, this is your... Just tell them everything that they need to know, because even in school, they're being taught about the reproductive system. So there's nothing, like I'd say, that is so new that you can't really talk to your kids about. And that is one really way of, you know, avoiding SGBV. At STADA, we look at things, SGBV and all that. So it really takes effort, not just like you take the it's not about you taking the kid to school and telling them to go and learn about it. Just begin it from home. Tell them, don't sit on someone's laps. If someone slaps you, come and tell me. If this and this happens, come and tell me. So that's the first instance of you being open to your child will really play a very huge role in the kind of person maybe they'll be in the future. So GBV is common, it's so common, and in as much as we have like laws and policies around it, much of it is taking place in the society, like in the community, whereby maybe you can present it, inform it to the chief, and they end up doing nothing, because you know the chief maybe will be bribed and be like, we need to solve this thing at home, and it's really hurting. Because I can give like a dialogue I had with a kid who was like sexually violated, and you know the girl was like, I was violated and violated with someone I know, and even before this violation occurred, I told my parents that this person was trying to like advance towards me in a certain kind of way, and you know my parents just brushed it off. That is what the girl said. And at the end of it all, the girl became violated. So, you know, I'm looking at this girl, a 13-year-old girl. This is someone who has like a whole life ahead of her. And like I said before, these things are just like scars. I'm looking at the kind of environment this girl will be in. Maybe right now she's in primary, in a mixed school. She'll go through high school. God willing, she'll go through university. At some point, she'll get into her career and start working. I think growing up as a woman, there's one part that I really need to applaud my parents for, because I had parents who are really strict on homemaking. And I can remember even growing up as kids, we usually called it kalongolongo, like Hindu. I don't know how to call it in Swahili or English. So it was like you go there, play as children, and then now they give you a given corner whereby they want you to set up your house, they need you to set up your seats and all that. And I really thank them, because they gave us that avenue to interact with other kids. And there's this part of, I can say, rather it's homemaking, but it also brought in some level of organization, because I came to know from a younger age that as a woman, you need to take care of your home. That's number one thing. You need to ensure that everything is okay. You need to ensure that your food is cooked, everyone is just served properly. And it's a good virtue, because it's something that is ongoing even at the moment. But now on the other side, I think I grew up in a time when STEM was not being upheld, like the science, technology, and all that. And in most cases, we realized that it was only boys who were being prioritized in the same. And I can remember before joining Form 1, I wanted to take up like computer as a subject. And I told my mom, okay, I want to do computer because I was not so good in maybe Swahili or business studies and geography. Those are not my strong points. And so I was like, Mom, I want to do computer, I want to do physics. And being that I was good in math, I was like, okay, I think I can do these courses. And then at the end of the day, I get my career maybe in computing, apart from law that I'd always wanted to do. So my mom was like, no, you can't do computing. That is something that is meant for boys. And she was like, you'll be doing it and maybe you'll have maybe your eyesight damaged because of like looking so much into the computer. And I sat and I was like, so you mean these things of IT, communications and all that are only supposed to be done by men? But at the end of the day, I came to realize, everyone needs to be given an equal opportunity. In as much as you're a boy or you're a girl, I think there's some courses that even up to today, parents feel like they're so technical and they need to be only given to boys. But either way, the ground should be set level for everyone. So in as much as you get a boy who is like doing IT and a lady who's doing IT, I think they're on the same platform. And then also my background, as in my mom was in the healthcare field. And most of the time I used to go and see her in the hospital. I could see, the nurses, and the male and the female nurses. So I really grew up like for the longest time, I knew male nurses were doctors. I really didn't know that they're nurses who can be males. So I used to think maybe nursing is just a course for women. That's what I really thought. And I was like, I think men are just clinicians and doctors. Only to come and realize that we also have men who are nurses. And I really came to realize it, I think, very, very late in life, because I thought of nursing as a woman course. So I was like, maybe men are not supposed to do nursing. But at the end of the day, I realized, we have men who are nurses and they even perform far much better. And I usually even preferred more by women instead of the women nurses. So in that case, I think what I came to realize, or what I've come to know, is that everyone should just be given an equal opportunity. Being a boy or a girl, what a man can do, a woman can also do. But nowadays we usually twist it in a way to mean more of empowerment. But even with empowerment not being considered, everyone should be given an equal opportunity. Wow, as a woman, I think I delved into womanhood, let's say maybe in my early 20s and now late 20s, where I am right now. So as a woman, being a woman comes with a lot of challenges. Yeah. Whether it's social, whether it's physical, whether it's just financial or every other thing. Being a woman, I can say it's not something easy. Because, there's this expectation that the society has towards you. And now they brand it all as, now you are a woman. You need to do ABCD. You're a woman. At some point, you need to get married. You're a woman. At some point, you need to start a family. You're a woman. At some point, you need to start having kids. I don't know, not everyone chose maybe the kind of life they're living in right now. So being a woman has been, I can say it is one of the most difficult things, because there are even places or avenues you'll go to, but the fact that you're a woman, people will have a different opinion about you. Even with the course maybe you'll do, they'll be like, women are not supposed to do that. Why are you in that field? So being a woman has really been a lot of challenge towards me, of which nowadays I'm really trying as much as possible to really navigate into it. And then also being a woman, I think there are areas that you're told now you need to be silent. You don't need to talk here, you are of a weaker gender. That's what people usually think, women are weak people. And even sometimes you can sit in a board and you're you have even the best idea. But not the fact that you're a woman, no one will want to listen to you. You can maybe come to an office and maybe where I sit, someone will expect maybe a man to be there. And now when they walk in, they see a woman, they'll be like, I don't think this person will really serve me the way I want to be. So being a woman, I think broadly it's about the social cultural norms that we do face nowadays, because a lot is really put on women, and there's some expectations that are really so high that as a woman you can't even meet. It really takes time. It really takes you to like get to know more about your environment, and that will help you like push into each and every one of it. So being a woman generally, it's not easy. it's not something easy. But now with so much resources that we find online, we can find it in books, like at least we really have that power to really navigate our womanhood. And then all the changes it comes with, like the bodily changes. Sometimes maybe you grow thin, and people are like, maybe you're on contraceptives, and you're like, I don't even use that. So women, like any change that happens in you, some will body shame you. You grow a little bit fat, and they're like, it seems you did something, or it seems like you're pregnant. And at the back of the mind, you're not even close to being pregnant. So even at some points, even like women, we are like the enemies of our own. Yeah. Even progress. Like this how maybe I want things to be done my way. And now when I go and present it to someone, they'd be like, you can't do that. And remember, it's a fellow woman telling you that you really can't like do what you feel you need to do. So my parting shot in all this, I can say we really need to understand the society that we are in.
Yes,
You really need to understand the society that we are in. We really can't say that we are whites, yet we're Africans. That's number one. So once you understand the kind of environment and the kind of society that we are in, as a woman, as a girl, generally as a person, then you really know how well to navigate what is there for you. So, and at the end of the day, just remember that you're not a people pleaser. It's you, it's your life, and you're the one who is in charge of how you live it. So don't really mind about what people will say. People will talk, whether you do good or bad, they'll still talk. But at the end of the day, you as a person, what do you want to achieve? Like, what legacy would you wish to leave behind? Like, today, you asked Vera, what have you done? You see, and what you've done will mean what kind of impact have you made to the community, or have you made in the position that was given to you. So just focus on you, focus on your well-being, and I think the rest will just flow. Once you love yourself, once you know how to manage yourself, then you can also manage others. There's one thing that I usually tell myself, that what I have is what I can give. If I have love, then I'll give out love. If I have hatred, then that's what I'll give out. So it's all about what is in me that I need to give out. So I think that's the best thing, the best advice, or rather the parting shot I can give about life. Yes.